going? Okay. Let me just start here. I know that, there was an update with Hutch and his surgery. Surgery went great, which is all good news. I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but, man, Hutch is a captain for us, highly productive player, great teammate, does everything right, and was having one hell of a game, one hell of a season. And so, look, that it hurts. It hurts to lose somebody like him, not only the player, but the person that's in that locker room, the leader that he is. But that being said, listen, we move forward. And let me say this before I get to what I was just saying. Look, it's 4 to 6 months. I would never count Hutch out, ever. So, yeah, probably, long road, but I would never count him out. And I would say if anybody can make it back, it'd be him. Now, what gives me hope moving forward is Aaron Glenn. All right, we've been coaching here, man, 4 years, and he's done everything in his power to work around any personnel we have and use the players that we have and get the most production we can. And we will be able to adapt to that. I have a lot of faith in that D-line room. Mac and Levi and Reeder, and Pascal and that group that's going in there, Ukwu. We got Muhammad on practice squad, Agude, Houston's still here. So we got options, and it's why we play with 3 phases. So we play offense, defense, special teams. That's why we do it, and we help each other out. So we'll be just fine. We're going to move forward, and I'll kind of leave it at that. As far as yesterday, highly productive, probably our most productive game, top to bottom, offense, defense that we've played. Details, execution on defense, 3.9 yards per play. That's huge. And then 5 takeaways. I mean, what a game. Really proud of those guys. Active, Offensively, same thing. 184 yards rushing. Quarterback played lights out. Skilled guys showed up. We had 14 explosives. Once again, Demo and Gibbs and, Saint, TP. I can go down Laporta, Leaf, and then that old line played great, man. Decker, Graham, Frank, Zeitler, and Sewell. So just a total team effort and really showed up, and I was proud of those guys. So game balls defensively was Branch and Mac and then Hutch. And offensively it was Goff. Special teams was Bates. Thought Bates did a good job yesterday. And then just a number of guys that played really good. Across the board, really. I think we only had maybe two guys that had losing performances. So that's pretty damn impressive. So proud of them. You
mentioned all the names that could, step up in Hutch's place. One of those guys we saw yesterday was Aleem. Everybody talks about the guys on the edge, but how much can he be a factor inside there? 2 sacks, 7 pressures yesterday. Just how much can he give you more in the pass rush to kind of help fill that void?
Yeah. A lot. Listen, Mac showed up, and Mac wasn't pleased with the way he played at Seattle, and so he was a man on a mission before the bye coming out, and he was locked in this week, and his mind was right, and he was going to be a factor in this game, and that's what we expect every week out of Mac. It's just that. So yeah, how much? A lot, and he's the guy. He's one of those guys we're going to lean on, and it doesn't have to be Superman, but we got to get that out of him every week, and he's got that ability. Played a heck of a game yesterday.
For him to return, 4 to 6, whatever, whether he makes it back or not, right? Time will tell on that. But just to have, you've been through rehabs like this before, to have that carrot dangling of coming back, how important is that for a player to I can get there, maybe I can.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's huge. To be able to say, man, because it is out there. And I just knowing Hutch, Hutch is he's got one of those rare, once he believes in it, he can will himself to find a way to get back. And, it's one of those guys, the mind can heal the body, and he'll find the next best thing and do whatever it takes to get back. And so who knows? But yeah, I think it's huge, man. You know, it's just sitting right out there. I can do this. I can get back. We'll be in a position to where I'll be able to come back and help. And I do. I think it's huge.
Talking to some of the players yesterday, their devastation for him was kind of obvious, but in the video from the post-game locker room, there was nothing that would indicate that, you know, any of those players thought that their aspirations took a hit. Can you just take us in the mind of your players and maybe why they are still so confident in themselves going forward?
Well, I started with it yesterday. That was the first thing I said once we got done with prayer was just about Hutch. And so we'd kind of covered that. But I think what I'd say is, you know, everybody feels for Hutch because of what I already mentioned, but they also can put themselves in his shoes, right? Because that could be any one of you. It could be any one of those players. And so it kind of brings it back to reality, like, hey, man, that's part of this game, and that's hard. But I think they also understand that, man, we are a team, and everybody is here for a reason, and it takes every one of us. And it goes back, that's why we play with 11 on defense, 11 on offense, 11 on special teams, and we play together. And if we need help in one area, we'll get it from one of the other groups. And that's how we complement each other. And so they believe it's next man up. We talk about it all the time on the practice squad, the vet squad. Man, we're going to have injuries. Things are going to happen. You got to be able to step up, and you got to hold the line. You got to hold the line.
Built this thing with depth for long-term success, but, you know, I want to frame this question in your comments post-game NFC Championship. You know, you don't know if you're going to get back there. The windows sometimes close, and so with Hutchinson, there's a reason he plays 90% of snaps, and Davenport, there's a reason he was a starter. How long can you take to evaluate what you still have before, you know, maybe considering going outside the organization for more help?
Yeah, well, let me start here. Brad always, I mean, this comes up every year, and it's not like he doesn't look. You know what I mean? So I know that. So he's doing what he's been doing. He's looking. Is there somebody out there that could potentially help us? What is it going to cost? You know, and so those things will always come up. But just because that's there, it doesn't mean we're going to do it. And it's got to be right. If it is, everything's got to be right. And honestly, where we're at now, we're not in a hurry. I mean, I believe in the guys that are here. I believe in that D line, and doesn't mean we're not looking, we're not evaluating. Brad is, that's his job, and he's good at it, and we'll take it as it comes. But our eyes are open, and we want to make sure that we have what we need here.
You turned to Ukwu. That was his debut. He played quite a bit down the stretch. I don't know how difficult it is situationally to evaluate an edge rusher when they can pin their ears back because the opponent's strictly throwing. But, you know, what did you see on the film review? What is your confidence in his ability to contribute in this
situation? He's a young player, you know, and that was his first taste of real NFL football. I thought as the game went on, he got better, you know, and it looked like it was his first NFL game, you know, and that's just the truth. But I see that guy every day in practice. You know, I see Agude every day in practice. We just got Muhammad here. I've known what he's been able to do for a while. And so, man, those are guys that, you know, they're going to do what we ask them to do, and they're going to go all out to do it. And while they're doing it, they're going to continue to grow. You know, Ukwu will get better every week. And so, look, we everything's on the table, but, man, we're not panicked. Brad and I are not panicked. And this team's not panicked. It's next man up, and if we have an area we need some help, then we got to help each other out a little bit here, and we may have to play a little bit different, and that's okay. But I know AG is going to put together a hell of a game plan. He does every week, and he's going to use everything that he has and the resources that we have, and we'll be ready to go.
First question would be, I mean, you feel confident that you can win a Super Bowl, you can accomplish all your goals with what you have in-house. You don't need to go out and get something.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my job is to coach what's here, and I'm going to coach the hell out of them, and we are as a staff. And And so, yeah, I do. And if we get somebody, great. If we don't, these are our guys. And the coaches know that. This is what we came into camp with. This is why we develop talent. And it's the next man up. They got to be ready to go.
You saw Goff give you back the game ball. Clearly,
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
seemed like
He just didn't want to carry his.
him and I'm assuming some of the other guys wanted to really win that game for you. How much does that mean to you to hear that from him and have that kind of performance?
Yeah, listen, I love those guys. I love our players, man. They're the best. They're the best, and I appreciate it. Appreciate it, and the coaching staff and everybody. But look, it's not like I'm the only one from Texas. So AG's from Texas. There's a number of us, Brock Wright, and so that was a great team effort. And listen, man, I love those guys, and I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody right now. This is our crew.
Can I just think one more game on it? So I'll have to come back Wednesday on it. I got to ask this: the lateral to, I'm sorry, the hook and ladder to Panay. To Panay.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the game. You guys are up 30. Like, is there any thought? What's the process of should we save this for another game? Do we just run it here? How do you sort of debate or go through that?
No, I think for that we had gone in saying, man, we're using everything in our arsenal. Like we told the players that's the way we worked all week, and we were using it, and we were playing football, and we were pedal to the metal, and that was the whole mindset. And then our job is to every week, come back up with something more creative and find a way to continue to push the limits here. Ben does a great job in the offensive staff, and so now let's go find something else.
Was yesterday Arnold's best game?
Yes, it was. I would totally agree with that. That was his best game. We saw improvement in man-to-man coverage. No DPIs, or defensive holdings, things of that nature. And so, man, we saw improvement. I totally agree with that. All right.